there's two things I'm concerned about when firing a tenant. One is the property itself. Are they going to come back and beat it up? Do what you see on these YouTube videos where these guys come and just bust up concrete, which is dumb. They should just file a lien. They'll get more money, and they can do so very easily without even having to hire an attorney. I shouldn't be telling contractors this, but that's what you can do. That's the law. I'm concerned about them busting up the house. The second thing I'm concerned about is them filing a lien. So what I'll do is, it's a lien release. You can Google it. You can get an attorney to produce. If you're one of our students, we give it to you just saying, hey, I release my rights to file a lien against this property, that everything is said and done. Sometimes that is a little too contentious for them. So what we'll do is we'll give them a check, and we have a stamp, a little like push stamp where, ink stamp, right? And we stamp the back of our check that says, by cashing this, you agreed to release the lien on this property and all that kind of stuff. It is a whole big old legal statement that's on the back of the check. You don't do it where they endorse it. You do it right smack dab in the middle. And all of a sudden that now becomes evidence should they decide to file a lien. Now, we have never had that problem because we either fire very quickly, we pay them a fair amount based on the scope of the project. Up front, we've set the ground rules with our contract. And in that contract, we actually have a lien waiver. We've had an attorney look at our stuff, our document, and say, this is the best way to thwart unruly contractors. And there's nothing that we can really do. I'll instruct him to take the money, the reduced amount that you would be giving him, and move on. Now, part of the negotiation is this. I want this over with. I don't want to have a keep conversation. Here's the amount, if there is an amount. And that's not all the time. Sometimes it's zero. In fact, 80% of the time, it's zero. You get no money. You didn't do the job. You were supposed to install the floors. The floors are not installed. You get $0. I got to go hire someone else to install the floors. Doesn't matter that you went to the vendor, you picked up the wood, you laid it in the house, you did a handful of, some corner of some room. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. This is not an hourly job. This is not a W-2 job. This is a contracting job. I wrote the contract, and the contract says if you don't complete the work, you don't get paid, period. And so 80% of the time, that's how that works. In that 20%, it might be something like they did install the floors, but they didn't put the baseboards back or the cord around. And it's not finished. Like it was finished. It could be finished very easily. It's probably a 2 or 3 hour thing for them, but they're not coming back. They won't call me back. They're wanting paid. They're getting pissed off, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, it's going to cost me. I was going to pay you $3,000, but it's going to cost me $500 for someone to come in and finish this out. I'll give you $2,500. That's the most I'm going to give you. When that's the case, stamp that check, write a lien waiver, and be very clear. You get $2,500 today. Tomorrow it's zero. You got a decision to make today. If you're going to go the lien route, go the lien route. Then we'll go to court. It's fine with me. I always tell my contractors I got a pocket full of money. I've been looking for a fight. So if you want to fight, let's go to court. I've never lost. So I go to court, I win, and you lose. The only people who do really win in court is the attorneys. I don't like going to court. I'd rather avoid going to court. Whatever I can do to avoid going to court, I'll do. But if it's time to fight, then it's time to fight. Now let's go fight. And so most contractors don't want to do that. What do they want? Goes back to one of our principles. They only care about their next paycheck. They may feel slighted, but at the end of the day, their feelings don't pay their bills. Money pays their bills. A check pays their bills. So we just got to come up with a number that works for everybody. When you do, release the lien. So I got to tell you about this story about a new branch partner. So I run a private equity company, and we do deals across the country. Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas, San Antonio, Texas. We'll be in Des Moines, Iowa later this year. I'm hoping to expand into other markets like Kansas City, Missouri, Cincinnati, Ohio. I've got 30-something markets that we're looking to be in. We've got a brand new branch partner. That's what we call them. They're branches of my private equity company. They partner with us. He's been doing construction. He found a deal. He's doing the fix-up of the deal, hired contractors, doing a wonderful, wonderful job. But he went against one of our principles, which was the guy who says he can do everything actually can't. Hire the specialists. Well, this guy did the windows and he did a good job. Then he started doing the doors, not so good job. Then he started doing tile. Really terrible job. Or he did plumbing. Really terrible job. In fact, we had a drain and the faucet was 5 to 6 inches to the left. And then the shower handles were all messed up. And then it went up against this one piece of 2x4, but it was off by like 6 inches. And I'm like, this just looks like crap. And so then he put the tile around it. Looks like crap. Instead of putting grout in between the tile, he had white tile with black grout. Instead of putting grout, he put silicone. He put caulk, silicone caulk in between that. It's like, oh my gosh, we got to do this completely over again. My new branch partner had been dealing with this guy for several weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. I flew into Memphis, saw what was going on. Yeah, we were going to fire him later this week. No, we fired him right now. Fired him later this week. He had done some things that were still part of the scope of work. We wound up coming with, he felt like I owed him $3,500. I felt like I owed him $500. I wound up being a nice guy and went up to $1,000. He got paid and he's done, but he got fired right away. Tools put on the front porch, lockbox changed, surveillance put up, neighborhood knows. This guy is now off the job, and now we can kind of move forward. That's how you fire somebody. Now, we don't want to be firing contractors. What we really want to be doing is building a team of contractors that we can rely on. Because once you have a team of contractors, you've got your starting 5, you've got your bench with all the specialists, man, you can do construction over and over and over and over and over again. You can do deal after deal after deal after deal. And if they know that you're doing good work, if we know that they're doing good work and we're out there finding deals, it's just a machine, man. We get specialized pricing because we go from one project to another to another. That guy doesn't have to market. He doesn't have to have a sales team. He doesn't have to wrap his truck or put on khaki pants. He just goes to work every Monday, finishes the job, and by Tuesday or Thursday, he's done. And he's spending the weekend with his kids. See, that's the way you can build a real estate empire that makes it so that you're acquiring passive income over and again by acquiring these cash flowing assets. These rental properties where you go from one to another, to another, to another, to another. So if you want to learn more, if you get into our school or whatever, send me a message, direct message, whatever. You'll reach out. They're all over the place. Comment, you can find me, like Deion Sanders says, I'm not hard to find. Brad Hovis and my companies aren't hard to find. So reach out. Let's see if we can get you into something that makes sense for you to start building that real estate empire. Don't be having to deal with unruly contractors all the time. Build that team. Let's help you build that team. That way you can kind of build that real estate empire and start building that wealth. Let that passive income be larger than monthly expenses and just do it over and over and over again. That's the ticket. That's the secret sauce. So thanks for watching this episode. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss the next episode. Every week, we drop practical money strategies and real stories that'll change the way you think about wealth.